where I think that Shedeur, if he is going to separate himself from the pack, it has to be during training camp, more specifically during preseason games.
Shedeur Sanders, are you high on him? Higher than I am? Why did he drop? What do you expect from him going forward?
Well, I think he's going to win the job. I know him since a little kid. All right, I know Dion.
Ladies and gentlemen, stop whatever you're doing, because what happened in a quiet, private Miami facility wasn't just a workout, it was a warning shot. This was supposed to be just another off-season training session, something low-key, private, nothing more than a footnote in a long NFL summer. But instead, what unfolded was nothing short of a reckoning. Because Shedeur Sanders didn't just show up, he shut the whole thing down. Let's be real, when a fifth-round pick walks into a room full of former pros, NFL scouts, and skeptical executives, nobody's expecting fireworks. But that's exactly what they got. Rocket throws, no-look lasers on the run, touch passes dropped into impossible windows like he was playing Madden, and he made it all look effortless. First, it was quiet curiosity, then murmurs, then full-on sideline chatter, scouts pulling out their phones, assistant GMs whispering to each other, eyebrows rising, heads nodding. It was like watching a secret go viral in real time, because what Shedeur did that day didn't just impress, it disrupted. He shattered every lazy narrative about draft order. He exposed every scouting report that claimed he needed time to develop, and he forced front offices' real decision makers to ask themselves one terrifying question. Did we just let a franchise quarterback fall into someone else's lap? This wasn't just better than other rookies. This was better than most NFL starters right now. Pressure? It was everywhere. Former NFL players were standing just feet away, watching every flick of his wrist, evaluating every move. But Shedeur? He didn't flinch. He looked like he was the one doing the evaluating. Locked in, calm, surgical, footwork elite, ball placement surgical, timing freakishly in sync, even with receivers he had never worked with before. You don't fake that. That's not raw talent, that's the result of obsession. And one scout and NFL vet was heard muttering, "That's a starting quarterback now. Not in 2 years, right now." And what's even crazier, this wasn't an accident. Sources say Shedeur requested a complex workout. He didn't want to throw against air or run simple slants. He wanted chaos, blitz packages, collapsing pocket drills, layered reads, delayed options. He wanted to feel the heat because he knew the room and he wasn't there to look good in shorts. He reportedly told his trainer, "I'm here to prove I should have been the first quarterback off the board." And by the time he walked off that field, nobody was laughing. Here's the twist. Several of the executives watching him weren't even from the Browns. They were from teams that passed on him, teams that thought he was a project, teams that are now feeling regret. One NFC executive reportedly texted his GM during the workout, "If he hits the field this year, we're all going to look stupid." Too late. That moment might already be here. Because something's changing in Cleveland. The tone inside the Browns facility has shifted. What used to be cautious optimism is now urgency. They know they've got something special, something that can't be ignored. But now the question is, will they unleash him? Because make no mistake, Shedeur isn't just here to sit, learn, and wait. He's here to take the job. And the NFL isn't ready for what's coming. The kid who was mocked for being too confident, now being praised for his poise. The QB labeled a project, now making veteran reads in live-action drills. The son of Deshaun Sanders, a label once used against him, now creating a name on his own terms. This isn't a hype cycle, this is a cultural shift. This is how locker rooms flip, how rookies become leaders, and how a team becomes a threat. Here's where it gets complicated. Deshaun Watson. His contract alone was supposed to be the anchor. But what happens when the film, the fans, and even your own coaches start asking, why isn't Shedeur starting? Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt is reportedly fascinated by Shedeur's ability to process the field and attack deep zones. Not scared, not conservative, not dink and dunk. He's reading safeties, manipulating linebackers, and launching darts in rhythm. So what now? Do you sit him just to save face? Because Shedeur isn't playing for the future. He's winning now. This isn't just fan support. This is fan devotion. Custom Shedeur gear is popping up in Cleveland stores. A mural of his face reportedly appeared overnight downtown. Social media is flooded with clips of him in Browns colors, holding imaginary Super Bowls, leading out the tunnel. This is rare. Most rookies get curiosity. Shedeur Shedeur is getting worship. And for a city like Cleveland, one that's been burned by QB hype for decades, this feels different. It feels real. Let's not ignore the economics. Shedeur isn't just a QB. He's a brand. He's got charisma, style, and a digital following that rivals NFL starters. National media is already circling for exclusives. Sponsors want in. This kid moves the needle on and off the field. And if the Browns don't move fast, they risk sitting on the biggest marketing and football asset they've had in decades. But here's the truth behind closed doors. Some in the league, and even in Cleveland, aren't comfortable. Why? Because of the swagger, because of the name, because he doesn't play the humble card the way they want him to. But let's call it what it is. It's code for control. The NFL loves conformity, especially at quarterback. But Shedeur, he's not here to fit in. He's here to take over. And that's what really scares people. Old school infrastructure is meeting a new school prototype. Shedeur is media savvy, charismatic, relentlessly prepared, and unapologetically himself. He's not waiting for a seat at the table, he's building his own. And the Browns, they're lucky they even got the invitation. But the question is, will they RSVP? Shedeur's rise is triggering a chain reaction. Inside the building, coaches are divided, players are watching, politics are brewing. Some staffers are tied to the old wait and develop model. Others see the Sanders wave coming and want to ride it. And around the league, GMs are reviewing scouting reports with red faces. And how did we miss this? And quietly, they're preparing to make a move if Cleveland slips. But what people don't talk about enough, Shedeur's leadership. His EQ. He walks into a locker room of millionaires and earns respect fast. Corrects routes without tension, commands huddles without sounding like a script. He raises the standard without saying a word. This isn't performative leadership. This is authentic gravity. And Cleveland, they've never had that. Not like this. Shedeur is forcing the Browns to rethink everything. Their player development strategy, their QB room, even their front office culture. Because every time he steps on the field, the timeline explodes. If he was supposed to sit, why is he outperforming everyone? If he was just a fifth-round pick, why does he look like the future of the league? And if he's ready, what are you waiting for? Training camp is coming, preseason is coming, and the pressure, it's coming too. Every snap, every throw, every incompletion from the starter. It all fuels the storm. So now, the Browns must decide, do they unleash the future, or do they let fear hold them hostage? Because make no mistake, Shedeur Sanders isn't just fighting for a job, he's rewriting the rules. And the league better catch up fast, because history doesn't wait for permission, and neither does Shedeur Sanders.